जीवन्मुक्तिप्रदं देवं क्षमापूर्णं
Paramahamsa Nityananda is a rare living incarnation, a yogi by birth. He has been expressing his power of enlightenment since birth. He has authored more than 500 books in Tamil and English, books in Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, Sanskrit, Gujarati, Oriya, Bengali, Marathi, French, Malay, Polish, Portuguese, Italian, German, Danish, Spanish, Russian and Chinese, with translations in 26 languages are available. He is also an exemplary speaker with over 8,000 hours of profound life solutions through his discourses. Social services such as Annadan, free medical care, free educational services, ashrams, schools, temples, hospitals established in more than 140 places around the world offer exceptional services. A powerful spiritual healer who has healed millions of people of diseases from migraine to cancer. A Kriya Yogi who has formulated Kriyas for physical health and mental well-being, benefiting thousands. A living master who offers practical solutions for our everyday problems. Having meditation centers in 151 countries including Bidadi, Tiruvannamalai, Rajapalyam, Salem, Hyderabad, Varanasi, Los Angeles, Ohio, Seattle, San Jose and Phoenix. He is the founder and spiritual head of Nityananda Dhyanapitham, a spiritual guru for 10 million followers, an incarnation who transmits the highest spiritual energy through initiation. A contemporary yogi who has revived the Vedic science of yoga worldwide through thousands of yoga centers. Adept in Ashtamahasiddhis, mystical yogic powers, he has effortlessly awakened the Kundalini of thousands, gracing them with spiritual powers. A spiritual powerhouse who has revived the sacred Vedic tradition by establishing Vedic temples worldwide in places like Los Angeles, San Jose, Seattle, Toronto, Ohio, Oklahoma, Phoenix, St. Louis, Malaysia, Brazil, Paris, Guadeloupe, Dallas, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Calgary, Vancouver, Singapore, and places like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Tiruvannamalai in India. A dynamic young guru who is an inspiration to thousands of youngsters. India's most watched spiritual guru online. A beacon of spiritual light who has triumphed over the forces of religious terrorism and political persecution. Paramahamsa Nityananda is an eternal Kalpataru, blessing the world with the boons of material abundance and spiritual enlightenment.
वन्दे पापविनाशक्तं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतं नित्यमुक्तं निर्विकल्पं ध्यानलोकप्रदीपकं वन्दे शान्तमयं बन्धं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम् आनन्दगन्धसञ्चारं सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं वन्दे ज्ञानालयं नाथं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्.
In Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Jnanakarma Sannyasa Yoga, 19th verse. I'll actually explain the half of the 18th verse and 19th verse together. Yasya sarve samarambaha kamasankalpavarjitaha jnanagni daktakarumanam tamahu panditambutaha. The translation, he whose every enterprise is without fancy for the object of desire and whose action is consumed by the fire of consciousness is called as the wise man by the wise. Wow. Bhagavan is using a very beautiful word. Tamahu panditam bhutaha. Even the wise people call him as wise man. That is a very difficult thing. You can get, Bhagavan is very beautifully putting, even the wise call you as wise. Let's enter into the verse. As I said, that 18th verse, of is attached to this verse, 19th verse. Sometime Bhagavan was speaking so fast, he need to use 1.5 verses to convey some idea. In this he is doing the same thing. The 18th verse is expressing two truths, two sacred secrets. One, when you understand all your actions are just natural expressions of your balanced or imbalanced hormones. Please understand, if you are experiencing anxiety, that is because some problem in your navel center. If you are experiencing fear, insecurity, that is because of adrenaline release. If you are experiencing extraordinary depression, that is because some problems in the heart center. Actually, just if your pulse rate can be altered, you can be put into depression or got out of depression. Just the pulse rate and the blood pressure, nothing else. Wrong combination of pulse rate and blood pressure is a depression. Just that is balanced, immediately you will be out of depression. Every action or the emotion which makes motion in you. See, energy which creates motion in you is emotion. Any emotion in you is just hormonal imbalance, chemical imbalance in your body. Please understand, even the peace you experience through the pranayama is chemical balancing in your body. That is not permanent. You need to know, the peace or the silence you experience in your body through pranayama or kumbhaga, any action is again only balancing of chemicals. That is also not the ultimate. That is only, see, you imbalanced it by wrong actions, by right action I am balancing it. But that is not ultimate enlightenment. Only by the actionless action, which is unclutching, leads to authentic, permanent, ultimate transformation. So first thing you need to know, all the actions is just hormonal imbalance, the chemical imbalance in the body. This will liberate you from all the karmas. That is the first sacred secret Bhagavan is revealing in the 18th verse. The second sacred secret, in the inaction, understand, you become the center of all the actions of the universe. In the generator, there is one part of the generator running in high speed. There will be another one part of the generator static in the center. But the static part is the center of all the action. Everything generated. Same way, when you understand the static part in you as you become center of all the actions of cosmos. Very beautifully Bhagavan says, Sayukta Krishna Karma Krita. He becomes the performer of all actions. And he says, he is the man of contemplation among men. Means he becomes man among men. He becomes yogi among rogis and bogis. Human beings are only three categories. Yogi, bogi, rogi. Person who understands all actions are just chemical imbalance, sees inaction in action, becomes yogi. He realizes the inaction center of him is the center of cosmic actions. With all this, Bhagavan is finally saying one simple thing, be unclutched. That's it. Because when you unclutch, you understand the static part of you. The static part of you, I tell you, realizing the static part of you is the greatest strategy for life. There are only two kinds of religions on the planet Earth. Religions which started giving different strategies for a happy life. The religions which gave be unclutched, experience the static zone of you. That is the ultimate strategy for living your life. Only these two religions exist in the planet Earth. All religions can be classified under these two. One unfortunate thing, when realizing static is the only strategy, you need a group of people who are also trying to realize that, so that you are not hurt by the society, people around you. See, for example, there are some religions which gave different strategy. You can marry 4 times. You can eat 3 times. You can do this. You can do that. You need to do this, do that. When the strategies are given, easy for common man to practice. But the strategyless strategy means experience your static zone. That is the ultimate strategy. When this truth is given to you, not only you need to be realizing it, you need to have at least few people around you who are also interested in realizing it, so that you have a safe zone that you are able to realize it. You are encouraged to realize it. The truth, realize your static zone, that is the ultimate strategy in the life, is Upanishad. The group of people who are working to realize the truth are the seekers. The place where they live is ashram. This is the way seeking, seekers, ashram. Whole thing evolved. Bhagavan very beautifully says, he becomes a man of contemplation among men. Now, Bhagavan is actually adding this 19th verse to the 18th verse. He is just expanding on the second truth. How he becomes yogi. How achieving the static center of you becomes the ultimate strategy for life. Yasya sarve samarambaha kamasangalpa varjitaha jnanagni daktagaramanam tamahu panditam bhutaha. Very beautiful example Bhagavan is giving. Jnanagni daktagaramanam. See, there is something called influence of the earlier poets or leaders, masters, through the phrases, proverbs. For example, now in my satsangs and discourses, if I am using the proverbs, phrases used by Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, Osho, J. Krishnamurti, naturally my inner space is influenced and impressed by them. Same way, studying Bhagavad Gita, we can very clearly find out who all have influenced and impressed Sri Krishna's inner space. I can very clearly design the syllabus taught to Sri Krishna in his Gurukul. In Sandipani, under the Rishi's guidance, what all books, scriptures Krishna studied, who all have influenced and impressed him. I can very clearly tell you, because this phrase, Jnanagni Daktagarumanam, is from Patanjali. Exactly this whole phrase. Many places, same way Bhagavan uses the phrases, proverbs directly from Kathopanishad. I can tell you very clearly, the whole syllabus book of Sri Krishna. I have a beautiful picture here, Shandipani Gurukul, how Krishna was learning. This word, Jnanagni Daktagarumanam, is directly from Patanjali. This experiencing the static zone in you does the job of Jnanagni Daktagarumanam, means action, an object of desires which is reason for action, and the fancy for the object of desires which is a foundation for action. All the three gets consumed by power of consciousness, the fire of consciousness. This is the way you become yogi among the rogis and bogis. Human beings, the first part of their life, bogis, run, 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 run. for enjoyment. The bhoga ends the moment you become a rogi. Sick. Then die. Very few became yogi among these bogis and rogis. As long as the body is strong and running, you run and be a bogi. When they are tired, they can't function anymore, you become rogi. So never ever the possibility for yogi is explored when your body and mind is healthy. When you are running in the line of bogi, that time itself, there are very few who became yogi. How you became yogi? That description Bhagavan is giving very beautifully in this verse. By centering yourself on the static zone, Jnanagni Daktakarmanam. Very beautifully, Patanjali puts it. Jnanagni Daktakarmanam Krite. When he describes about the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, this is one of my favorite proverb, because I still remember how I was taught this proverb. Raghupati Yogi is a very simple, nice person. Sometimes he will roast groundnut to give it to all his chamchas. See, apart from disciples, he will have a group of chamchas around him who will come and spend some time joking. He's after all an old village man, and sitting and talking all the local stories. When I listen to all that, sometimes I also used to have a doubt. How can this great yogi, morning I saw him levitating, flying in the sky. Now he is sitting and talking who ran away with whom. No, really, he will sit, some 5-6 chamchas will come, all old men and women, is journalists who will go to every street and collect news and bring him and entertain him. All dirty, cheap stories. Who ran away with whom, and, and who got how much dowry, who is having affair with whom, who will win in the coming local election. They won't even talk state level election. That is too big for their brain. They will only talk that local panchayat level election or their local village level election. Cheap gossip. Sometimes I used to wonder, how can this yogi be like this? But such a sweet, innocent person, he will even roast groundnut to eat while giving the news. So one day he was roasting the groundnut inside the temple where he used to teach yoga for me every day. There he made a small fire and he is roasting the groundnut. And I was sitting and I was a great Vedanti and my mind was completely filled with this great truths, and my greed or passion for this spiritual science is such. Whole day I'll be talking about this only. Sometime even he will be bored and he will say, can you keep quiet and allow me to talk my things? What is that? Who ran away with whom? No, he will nicely in a big vessel, he will roast the groundnut, and moment all his chamchas gather, 3 men, old men, and 2 elderly lady. All are widowers and widows. Who will live with them? That kind of fellows. And they will all sit around. Not a single one can do their things on their own. That kind of old widows. But somehow to collect news and give news, they will become so alive and active. They can't do their own household things, but they will walk almost 1 kilometer just to sit with Raghupati Yogi and share who ran away with whom, who is having affair with whom. I still remember how I learnt this verse. This Raghupati Yogi was preparing one day his great snacks for his United Nations of Scandal Conference. He was actually roasting the groundnut. And that day only I read this verse. Morning I read this verse. Then I was sitting there and asked him, I was actually trying to ask him. Tata means the grandfather. Oh, is this the way what the Patanjali was telling? Our desires and engrams get roasted, because dakta karmanam means in Sanskrit getting roasted. Once the roast, if a seed is roasted, it can never grow again. So is this the way Patanjali was telling? But that day Raghupati Yogi was too busy. He was thinking very strongly about some important local scandal. I said, Baba, no, grandfather, tell me this. Is this the way now you can see exactly, and this is the way they roast. And anyhow, after the roasting was completed, he got so irritated by my constant, questioning or nagging him. He just took a little bit of groundnut along with the mud. There used to be a sand also. He took both and threw on my face and said, even if you burn the samskaras, roast the samskaras, till the sand also becomes heat, you cannot roast other groundnuts which is constantly being fed inside. So you do your job. You need to do all this. I don't need to do all that, because if I roast my engram, that is enough for me. I don't need to become a sand where constantly all the engrams need to be roasted. You do your work, I'll do my work. Understand? He said it very clearly in Tamil. See, I was making fun of him for talking all these scandals and rumors and wasting his time without teaching me the great truths. He understood the pattern, the mind with which I am attacking him. He immediately said, hey, I only need to burn my groundnut, which I did. I already roasted. I don't need to become a hard sand. See, hard sand means an incarnation, a guru, where every groundnut when it is dumped, the sand has the responsibility of roasting it. So sand needs to be heated more than the groundnut. So you are the sand, you do your job. Why are you forcing me to do your job? In my case, I am groundnut. I have done the roasting of myself. It is now your headache. You do what you want. It was very funny, very beautiful. I tell you, that moment, this verse, I can say, became experience. Such a great moment. How can it be forgotten without getting shared? That's the reason the moment I read this verse, Jnanagni Daktakarmanam, this incident is too important. Cannot be missed. It should be put on record. When the fire of consciousness consumes all the engrams, the reason for engrams and the foundation for engrams, Bhagavan is giving three things. Foundation of engram, fancy or fantasy. The reason for engram, object of desire, and the action which strengthens the engram. All the three, when it is consumed by the fire of consciousness, means the consciousness which becomes static, centered in inaction, you became the yogi.